Welcome everyone. A very happy Tuesday. I'm Salim Khan, a QuickSight Solutions Architect at AWS, and I'm joined by my colleague Neeraj Kumar, who will be presenting with me today. Um, a quick look at the agenda today. We'll do a quick overview of Amazon QuickSight and Pixel Perfect reporting for folks who are new to QuickSight and Pixel Perfect reporting. We'll go through some of the content that we have. Then we will dive into the topic for today's session, that is prompted reporting and reader scheduling, along with custom views that we've recently launched in the last 2 months or so. And then Neeraj will be demoing the use cases around prompted reports and reader scheduling. And then we'll hand over some learning resources towards the end that you can use to learn more about prompted reporting and scheduling and QuickSight in general. Okay, so a quick overview of QuickSight. QuickSight enables BI for everyone in the organization that needs them. QuickSight is a unified BI service that delivers modern dashboards for your organization's need, be it pixel perfect reports for agreed upon formats of data, be it embedded analytics for consuming insights directly in your applications, or just asking Q questions in natural language. Organizations can consolidate and migrate away from maintaining multiple legacy BI systems for the different needs, thereby eliminating complexity. QuickSight is built with the builders in mind, right? So whether you are a BI analyst or a developer, we enable you to get your analysis done and delivered anywhere quickly and efficiently. It is purpose-built on a serverless architecture that scales efficiently, whether it's hundreds of users or thousands of users, with no software or servers to install to manage. Customers can lower costs by eliminating investments in unnecessary resources. With usage-based pricing, customers can reduce spend by simply paying for what they need. There are no long-term contract or hidden costs for the extra service. And then we have policy-based governance and security above all of this within QuickSight itself. Okay, as you know, we've been developing as per the customer needs. So all the feature requests that we have, you see that in the last 2 years we've done 150 plus needs at reInvent. We launched a lot of new features, and this gives you the highlight of how we've been working tirelessly throughout the years to develop features that you have been asking for. Okay, so quick overview of how the architecture of QuickSight is laid out. So QuickSight has a unique architecture. It is serverless, so it comes with auto scaling as mentioned before. Then we have the cloud economics of cost into considerations, and it's very simple to manage since it's a serverless technology, very simple, easy to manage for your administrators. On the architecture, the serverless architecture, we have different consumption formats that you can leverage, right? So whether you have interactive modern dashboard that you're building, whether it's pixel perfect report or previously called paginated reports that you're building for highly formatted reports, whether it's machine learning or natural language queries that you want to use, or embedded analytics for your needs, or data stories, a new asset for your narrative content. All of these different consumption formats are within the same unified BI experience. Okay. And over all of these different consumption formats, we've added generative BI for your business authors and users, right? So you can use natural language right now to author your reports and dashboards. You can create calculations. You can use your natural language queries to do Q&A experience. We just recently launched the scenarios in beta version. All of those generative BI experiences are layered over our different consumption formats within QuickSight. With QuickSight, you can connect to your data wherever it is. So whether it's an on-premise data source, whether it's on the cloud, or different applications like Jira Service now, you can connect to all of your data sources through QuickSight. We have a lot of native connectors that we've recently launched too. You can connect to BigQuery also now. You can, if there are data sources that are not natively connected, you can use Athena Federated Query to connect to those data sources. Yeah. Coming to a high overview of Pixel Perfect reporting, previously known as paginated reporting. Right, so Pixel Perfect reporting enables you to deliver highly formatted reports to your user inboxes or see the snapshot on the UI itself, right? Reports can be scheduled for delivery as PDF, CSV, or Excel reports. It comes with the same unified authoring experience, so there's no new learning, the same UI as your interactive dashboards, with some extra features added for Pixel Perfect reporting that we'll go over in the next few slides, right? Pixel Perfect Reports is serverless and auto scale like the rest of QuickSight, so there's no software to manage. And with pay for usage and consumption-based pricing for Pixel Perfect, we also have auto archival up to 1 year, so you can see your snapshots for 1 year. You don't need to have any expensive multi-year contracts for products that you won't want to use. Just a few examples on what Pixel Perfect Report looks like. You can see it's the multi-page, usually in PDF format that renders all the rows of a table or a pivot table or different visuals within your report. This is a sample of an account summary of an invoice. You can have a billing statement invoice that is highly formatted with different visuals laid out in a pixel perfect way so that you can generate these reports. There are a few examples that we have, and Neeraj will be going through more examples in a detailed way during the demo. Okay. Some key elements of pixel perfect reporting, right? So you can see that the content is rendered in its entirety, not like a single page PDF that we have for dashboards. But with pixel perfect, the content is rendered in its whole entirety, right? You can set the paper size and the orientation like portrait and landscape. You can specify the header and footer for these reports. You have page margins that you can work with, and you have multiple pages that get rendered and that can be grouped together in sections. And sections basically are groupings of different visuals or content within the dashboard. So you can have multiple visuals grouped together and that can be rendered together within the section. And each section can be then specified as a page break that you can have or basically rendered one below the other, right? And you also have system parameters like the page number or the print date that the report is run at, right? All of these can be specified. These are key elements of pixel perfect reporting that we've added. Okay. So with pixel perfect reporting, it comes two forms of distribution, right? So you can schedule your reports in PDF, CSV, or Excel format, and along with the schedules, you'll be able to see the snapshot history as seen in the screen on the right side. So we maintain the snapshot history for a year. So snapshot on the UI, you can see those. And then we have also launched snapshot APIs, right? So Pixel Perfect reports can be used as a service. Like you can use this APIs to generate snapshots on demand and deliver the content where you like. You can automate to scale by publishing the reports through these APIs. Also, if you have legacy workflow that already set up to generate and distribute the reports, you can just replace them with Pixel Perfect reports as a service. Right? So snapshot APIs help you do that. Last year we launched repeating sections, which basically you can author repeating section within Pixel Perfect reports to create banded reports or repeating sections as mentioned, right? These can be done on multiple dimensions. Yeah, and the combination of dimensions is what renders the content within the section itself. So as you can see in the demo, we have a sales promise performance report that basically has a few visuals in a section, and that is being repeated by the region, and then we'll be adding the country to it also, right? So you can have multiple dimensions. The permutation combination of those dimensions is what is used to render or group the content together. And then you can also add page breaks to all of these repeating sections. Okay, and specify a sort value that you can leverage to see how the sorting of those combinations are working. Okay. Coming to prompted reports, this is what we launched at re:Invent last year. Okay, with prompted reports, users or readers can run their pixel perfect reports on demand at any time, right? So with optional prompts or filters to personalize a report shared with them for their own need. As you can see in the example, you can choose a hospital along with other parameters like the category, and then run the report, and then this report gets generated, right? So what we had as filters in the dashboard now have come to our pixel perfect opacity reports, and now you can run all the reports on demand with this prompted reports. And Neeraj will be doing a demo of these prompted reports, how to set it up, and then how to run these. Along with prompted reports, we've also launched a couple of new features such as reader scheduling. So a lot of customers were asking for readers or viewers to be able to schedule their own reports, right? So now we've launched reader scheduling. It comes with certain key features, right? So now readers control when they receive the report. Viewers can only schedule emailing a report to themselves, right? So viewers, as readers or viewers, you can only add schedules, like you can see on the right hand side within my schedules, that can be sent email to yourself. You can't add any other person to it, right? Reports will be generated and sent over email within an hour starting from the time the user picked. If you have a requirement for your schedules to go out to multiple people, it will work the same way as it works before. So author or the admin will create the schedules, and that shows up as shared with me below, right? So authors and admins can create schedules for reports or dashboard that can go out to multiple people or groups. As reader, you'll be able to schedule reports only for yourself, right? And each reader or viewer can create up to 5 schedules on any dashboard or report. Coming to the schedule custom views, right? So you can combine prompts with schedules. So we can consider this as more like what you have bookmarks. So if you have a pixel perfect report, you select certain prompts, or you have a dashboard, you select filters on the dashboard, yeah, and then create a custom view. When you save it as a custom view, all your filters and parameters basically get saved in the view. And when the report is scheduled to run, it runs with those parameters, right? So it enables report generation workflow to access the parameters or the filters in the control settings, right? So this is custom views that we've launched along with everything. The original view basically will give you how the dashboard was published, and you schedule that and run that with the original view. If you want to pass in the schedules or save certain prompts that you want to leverage, you can use custom views. Handing it over to Neeraj for the demo.
Hello, everyone. So let's get into the demo. So as Salim has called it out, we are talking about the prompt reports and the reader scheduling. So we'll discuss the 2 use cases largely, and I'll show quickly how we can enable that within your accounts, or how you wanted to build it or implement it within for your use cases as well. So coming to the first scenario, first use cases, I have one any medical profiling report, something Salim was sharing it as part of one of the slide. So in this reports, there are prompts, like the first prompt is I should be able to select the hospital name. I should be able to select the categories. So there are 2 different categories: risk of mortality and severity of illness for this profiling report, and the health conditions correspondingly. And I should be able to run based on the selections I make. And with that, the report would get generated. So this is a report with all the default parameters, where I have a cover page here. And within this cover page, I have the summary of all how the health cases are trending, all based on the cases that has been reported for a given hospital, right? Which is Albert Medical Center here. In same way, we can further break it up based on the risk of, like, the 2 categories. The first one is risk of mortality and all its service lines. Same way for the severity of illness and all its service lines. And then particularly taking a 1 category into account, we can just start reporting it for each and every health conditions. So you see, if you dive deep into it, you would understand that this is all possible through the repeat section. And also we are able to generate through the prompt reports, right? So this is one example that we will enable. We will look into it further in more details, right? Just on a high level for this particular report, just to help understand the data. So from the hierarchy point of view, there are set of hospitals for this particular data. Like, there are multiple hospitals, and within each hospitals, there are 2 different categories, as I was calling it out: risk of mortality and severity of illness. And within each of these categories, there are multiple health conditions, right? And this is the hierarchy of the data. And then plus there are other attributes which we are using it to generate this report. Now, I have a sample analysis on which I can work and I can show you. So for this same any medical profiling report, I have this analysis here. Within this analysis, I have the cover page, I have the summary listed, but I don't have a repeat sections enabled. I don't have a filters. I don't have a prompts. Now, how do you do that? How do you set up the repeat sections? And how do you do the prompt report setup with your reports? And again, this is a pixel perfect reports. If you have to turn pixel perfect report within your account, just a quick call out, you can go into the managed pricing and you can subscribe to a monthly plan or annual plan as required for your use cases. So going back again to our analysis that I was showing earlier. So within my analysis, which is any medical health reports, I have these parameters. These are 3 parameters I have. One is to allow the users to pick the hospital. The second is for category. And then third is for health conditions. I will use these parameters and add the filters. Now, correspondingly to each and every visuals, the very first thing I can go in and is to add a filter. So let's add a filter one by one. So first is the hospital name. So I can just pick the hospital name, and then subsequently I can make it for all the visuals within this particular sheet of the Pixel Perfect report. However, I need to tie back to a custom filter, which is parameters I'm using, and I can take PHN, which is my hospital name, as a parameter, and I can apply. Same way, I can go in, add filter for my category and make it for all the visuals within the sheets. And again, I can use a custom filter mapping to category, which is my parameters, and I can apply. Lastly, I can do the same way for the health conditions, and I can just add it for my health conditions. So correspondingly, again, for a given sheet, I can go with a custom filter, use the parameters, and my parameters be conditions, which is applied. Now my filters are getting applied to all my visuals. Next step is to add a repeat sections. There are two sections within this particular report. As I called it out, first is a cover page. I can, for a Pixel Perfect report, as Salim was highlighting, as part of key elements, you have a header. You can add a header if your use case is required. In my use case, I just have a cover page here, and I have multiple sections called out. This is more of a summary. I don't need a repeat sections. However, I would need a repeat sections for my section 3. And in this case, I can add quickly a dimensions. And in this case, I wanted to add a category as my repeat section, so that each time for a given hospital, I should be able to repeat the section for each of the category, which is risk of mortality. And the second one it will repeat for is severity of illness. Likewise, I can go in the last sections. That's my section 4, and I can enable the repeat sections even for this one. So I can go in, add all my required dimensions. So I will start with the hospital name. I can now add another one for category, and then I want it to be further after the hospital name, then the category, and then the health conditions. So this is my hierarchy. I can follow with that. I can also add a page break after each instance has been created. Now, finally, my filter is being added. I've added the repeat sections. What I can finally do is I can use the parameters and add a control. So I'll go ahead and add a control respectively. So for my, let's say for hospital, I can just add a drop down. I can link it to my data sets, which is my any medical data. And then correspondingly, I can pick the hospital name and add it. So on my controls being added on the top, so I can just resize that. Same way I can do it for P category, like adding the category as a control. I can define that quickly as category. I can link it to a data sets, any medical data. I have my categories. I can add it quickly. So that is also added. And lastly, I can add the last one remains is the conditions. So I can just put a condition there. And I can same way link to my data sets. If you have multiple data sets, if you have joined data set, you can correspondingly pick the associated attributes. Right now, my prompts has been added to my reports. Repeat section is there, filters are applied, and now I can finally publish that as a report. So let's say I give the name as any medical report, and I can just publish that. My report gets published, and as you see, I have a prompts there. I can pick up respectively any particular prompt. Let's say I want to pick Hartford hospitals. I wanted to pick one of the category. And now I wanted to run a doc report for my just 2 health conditions, and then wanted to see. Now, as you have seen, I have taken into account these prompts. These are tied to your parameters, which allows it to filter your data correspondingly, and also the repeat sections being added. So correspondingly, based on what category I pick and what health conditions I pick, the report will get generated only and only with respect to what my whatever filters I applied for my reports. And as soon as it is generated, it will allow me to download that report. This is more for if you wanted to use the prompt reports, you wanted to create these reports and download it, and you wanted to share it with the stakeholders. This is how you can go with that. I'll come to the reader scheduling just after that. So now let's say my first report is being created and I wanted to check on my particular report. So I ran it for Hartford Hospital. That's cool. Then I have got the summary and I've got the risk of mortality. I should not get the severity of illness because I did not select. But within the risk of mortality, I selected the cardiac and obesity. So it has generated the report, ad hoc report, only for the prompts that I've applied, right? So this is how you can enable prompts on your report, apply the repeat sections, and you can get these reports created as needed, right? So that covers the first scenario, first use case on the prompt reports, how you can quickly set it up within your accounts. Now, going back to the second scenario, or the second use case is around the reader scheduling. So let me go back to my dashboard again. I have another example or scenario me and Salim have put together for just to highlight like what we can provide you a quick glimpse into what kind of a reports you can create. So this is an annual report for a fictitious automotive company called as Quick Motors. In this annual report, I wanted to create, like again, the cover page. I would have the table of content created. I can have the overall summary with all the annotations that is required or based on the key performance indicators. You can apply all these. You can pick those visuals. You can add those insights from your QuickSight reports or dashboards. And then you can further create these sections like this one. The first one was key performance indicator. You can have subsequently the segment breakdown, and you can add all those associated values. And then if you wanted to give an overview outlook for your electric vehicles, how it's been emerging across different states or within the regions, or how it is the sales is trending for the different fuel types, and if you wanted to show the geographical impact. So if you see, this report is being generated holistically for all the regions. So I have 3 regions: Americas, Asia Pacific, and Europe, right? So I have the prompts on top of my reports. I can run prompt report as well, but now I wanted to use these prompts and also schedule these reports. In principle, the QuickSight allows authors to schedule the reports. As an author, I have a report scheduled, which would run annual report for the instances or the frequency I set it up, be it weekly or monthly. And I can also allow my readers now to schedule their own reports. I can share these schedules with my readers as well, so that they can subscribe to these schedules. Plus, the readers would be now able to create their own schedules as well. So now, let's say this is a one particular annual report. We have it, and now I wanted to share it with my reader within my account. So I can go into share dashboard. So currently it is with shared. The report is being created by me, and I've shared it with Salim. Now I wanted to share it with another reader or a stakeholder within my account. So for a demo purpose, I have analyst as a reader created within my account. So let me just search for it, and then I can add it as a viewer. Now, this reader or the viewer can all now access this particular dashboards. So let me log in with a different profile of analyst within the accounts, and then I'll show you quickly on that. So let me go in and create a prompt window, and within that, I can just access my QuickSight accounts quickly. So I'm accessing a QuickSight accounts for my particular account, which we have set it up within this account. Now I can go in and log in as analyst, which is my user to whom I have given just now the access. And I can just log in with that credential. And as soon as I log in now as analyst within this particular account, I have now access to the annual report, right? Which is being shared with this particular, just now I shared it with that, right? If I don't share it just quickly and if refresh it, this report is not with the analyst. But now as I can add it, it gets added, and I can refresh my screen as an analyst, which is my different profile. I can now get into my dashboard, the report, and now I can see what are the different schedules that has been shared with me. If author has shared with me, I can go into specifically and see, is there any schedule shared with me? Currently, I've not subscribed to it. I can go and subscribe to this one. So once I'm subscribed to it, I'll start getting this particular report as well, right? For now, I just wanted to keep it unsubscribed. And now further, I wanted to add my own schedules. As Salim, through the initial part of the overview, he shared like readers can now schedule, and they can go up to 5 different schedules, and they can set it up within your account. So likewise, I can set up quickly a schedule. So for example, for this particular scenario, let's say I wanted to pick my either I can go with the original dashboard, which is the default based on what the author has created, or I can build my own custom view, which is like bookmark in my own prompts. And in this case, let's say if I wanted to go and pick a particular region, let's say Americas and Europe, and for these particular region, these two regions only, I wanted to schedule my reports. I can go ahead and create my schedule. So now I can give the name of the schedule, let's say monthly sales reports or so, and I can define what my content should be. I can also define if there's an Excel or CSV as part of this particular report, if there's any table. But in this case, I just wanted to go with the PDF Excel reports. I can define what my frequency is. For now, I'll just run it for once. And I can just specify what time it should be running. So I can specify that, and I can specify what my header content, everything should be, whether I want it to be included sheet in the email body, or I want it as a file attachment, and I wanted to save that. So my schedule as a reader, I got access to this report. Author has given me access. I have access to the schedules which author has shared with me. Plus now I'm also able to create my own schedule, and I can set up the frequency as needed for the prompts that I set it up. So I can utilize my prompts, plus I can also do my own reader scheduling. I can set up my reports. So with that, once the report is being created, then it will start sending me those reports with those prompts. If I just quickly generate the PDF for the selections that has been made, it will take into account the report, the filters that is being applied, which is in this case, it's regional filters like Americas and Europe has been selected. So likewise, the report would get created only with respect to these set of filters. Plus, if I decide on picking up other prompts or other filters, even the schedules can basically address to those as well. So in this case, the report has been created. Likewise, it will be same report that will get created for even when the schedule gets created. So like, for example, this is the annual report it creates. It defined based on the filter applied, it has changed now the sales versus targets, the year over orders for Americas and Europe is being considered, and likewise segment performance and everything. And if you see, the geographical impact only shows me now Americas and Europe, because that's how for my schedules or for my report that I just ran, I just considered only these two regions. So likewise, you can basically schedule, the readers are now able to schedule based on the prompts. So that was the objective of sharing these two use cases with you for the different scenarios, different use cases. One was with the medical report. We shared with the prompt reports how you can enable, and the same way for, let's say, in this case, the annual report is being created, and you wanted to have the prompts as well as you wanted to add a reader schedule. Readers wants to add their own schedules as well. So now it's just visible within the reports. Going back to now the resources. Let me share all these resources that we touched upon. So first is we have a larger documentation on these Pixel Perfect reports, so you can follow along like all these new launches that is coming along. Any new release that is happening. So all that is part of our documentations. So let me go back and share that quickly. So this is our pixel perfect reporting. It gives you the glimpse of all entirely, and it has subsequently can help you navigate into all these images. We have a detailed blog around the prompt reports and reader scheduling. I'll also provide that link within the chat as well. So you can always go through the blog and you can easily follow along, like the details around how do you set it up. So I see some of the questions was on the rolling periods, and also if you wanted to set up those like previous month or rolling 7 days, you can set up those as a date criteria, and you should be able to even run the reports. Your prompt reports can also be executed for those criteria as well, right? So that's one example. As part of the blog, we have got it out. This covers the prompt reports as well as the reader scheduling, the one we just now explained, considering some of these like rolling previous month or last month's of reports that you wanted to generate for. Likewise, we also have the QuickSight community, which Mary talked about in details. So if you have any questions, if you wanted to follow along, understand the events that we are launching, or any webinars or any immersion days, or for any other topics, you can follow along on the events page within the community. Also, you can come and ask questions, and you can also follow along some of the larger documentations, the developer resources, or the learning guides, or a lot of contents around that on our community. If you wanted to follow along what's new in the QuickSights, what the new features that launch, so we have we keep updating on our documentations on our AWS, and any new features that gets logged in or gets added, it's part of a new feed as well. Likewise, we have our demo centrals, which is a public gallery where you can see all our demos contents. You can also follow along on our workshops if you wanted to access our self-paced workshops, not only just the pixel perfect reports, but also anything around author workshops you wanted to do, or you wanted to touch base on any of those be it admin workshops or anonymous embedding, and all these subject areas are there, and even including our natural language query, which is Q workshops, is as well there. So those are the more details around that. Plus, just to highlight, you can also, Salim highlighted on the snapshot APIs and in the beginning. So whatever you can do it with the prompt reports, you can also do it with the snapshot export APIs. If you wanted to run it as a batch, you wanted to automate the process, we have our snapshot APIs, export APIs, which will allow you to schedule to create your own report instances with the filters that you wanted to apply. So there's a blog there in detail which allows you to do that. In case you want to don't want to do it through the UI, rather you want to do it through the APIs and automate that process, you will be able to do it. And lastly, on the repeat sections, we have a detailed blog. We covered a little bit on our use cases today, but if you wanted to go deeper and see more scenarios, that's part of our blog as well. And I'll quickly paste all these links in the chat here for your reference, so that you have access to all these details.